皆さんおはようございます。下の印教石を手に入れました。だから私の発音はちょっとです。もうすぐ6時です。よろしくお願いします。勉強を始めましょう。As you guys may have seen from my last video, the NHK Easy Japanese podcast is my main Japanese listening resource. Today I listened to lesson 30, which was all about もう少し写真を撮りたいです. There's a skit that I listened to first, and then there's a grammatical and vocabulary explanation of each sentence that I said. There's also an onomatopoeia section because it's always relevant, and there are hundreds of them to learn. And of course, I add all of my new vocabulary to Quizlet. 2つの新しい言語は濡れますと風邪をひく。はい、次のことです。はい。While I can use NHK News for my listening practice as well, it can be a bit difficult because there's no grammatical explanations. 隣のトトロのニュースです。面白い。And vocabulary is super difficult to listen to, so the main thing I do is try my best to translate the article that interests me, like this one about my neighbor Totoro. And it's also great because I can stay in touch with Japanese news too. Journaling has always been a part of my morning routine, and I have been journaling for almost 12 years. I usually do about 3 pages per day, and I just empty my thoughts from yesterday so I can just start the day with a fresh mind. So the Minna no Nihongo 1 textbook is the one that I use with my degree. 昼ご飯を食べましたが、いいえ、まだです。これから And I think it's something that you can use to self-study Japanese, but I would say definitely study hiragana and katakana first, because otherwise you won't be able to read the pages. はい、寝ました。This pencil is so rubbish. で、レポートを送りました。私はテレサちゃんに本をあげました。日本語で何ですか？セロテープです。セロテープですか？はい、そうです。After every chapter, there are some practice questions that I do to consolidate my knowledge, especially for the grammar. It's so important.2018年に日本のダイソーでこのノートを買いました。最近このノートを始めました。じゃあ始めましょう。Even though I've just started my diary, the main reason is that I want to practice vertical writing, and being able to write about my day is another goal for me. Writing about emotions is currently the hardest thing for me to do. 終わりました。はい、2時間ぐらい、多分3時間ぐらいの漢字練習をします。今、漢字力練と私の漢字ジャーナルも使います。書く練習は一番 It's like the most time consuming. じゃあ始めましょう。はい、これは初めての漢字練習です。 A lot of the kanji practice that I do is repeatedly writing the kanji until it becomes second nature. But before this step, I always use like a pictogram or an association in order to remember the kanji.はい、じゃあこのページからこのページまで終わりました。本当に難しかったです。4つの新しい漢字を勉強しました。例えば酒と塩と付き合っては本当に便利な言語です。Next is the actual homework that I get from my classes. 自分の文 means my sentences. So once we study 2 grammar lessons, we have to write our own sentences using these grammar points to make sure we've grasped the use of it. I'm currently doing lesson 9 and 10. This homework is probably the most embarrassing ever because I literally have to do a 2-way conversation by myself.
漢字がわかりますか？
漢字がわかり
いいですね。
いいですね。日曜日、美術館へ行きましょうか？ Did he say that? I don't even remember.
すみません。
すみません。
消しゴムありますか？
What?
ありますよ。
ありました。
野球のチケットをもらいました。一緒に行きませんか？
か
土曜日ですか？残念ですか？
用事がありますから。
用事は何ですか？うちにMy brain! じゃあ終わりました。そして 100% イエーイOK じゃあ次のこと。月曜日から金曜日まで Zoom でオンラインクラスがあります。最近勉強し始めました。忙しいですが、日本の勉強が好きです。それは私の maybe like 初めての試験です。でもlike この試験はちょっと違うです。自己紹介の試験です。はい、そうです。And yes, I watch SpongeBob and I am not afraid to show it. Otsukare-sama deshita! I'm so proud of myself. The time is 7:24. I have finished that movie, which has scarred me for life. When I get tired, I no longer speak Japanese because it no longer becomes relevant. Because I hope that you found this video relaxing, useful. Any questions that you have, fire away with them. I am pumped, and now I'm now gonna order myself some kawaii bunboku. Artbooks no kawaii bunboku ga daisuki desu. Oh my gosh! I mean, whatever the fuck I'm feeling, I'm just gonna fucking buy it because I love stationery. There we go. End the video. Like, subscribe, and I will see you soon. Mata ne!